Tang, the top mambo already, that Hanman, the Tampi, young Madonna, young agility, Nepachibori, Mother down the same other Kachi, Takati, Josi, Tavan, the Yokochi, Data get on the command, not the cemetery, Tankato, Mari, Semi Yamzori, Mother only that. Dumping Davian Janito, he subjected Janina, check the young Nipor, Tangi, only the same one go to the Lizubo, go to the same young Cortocuyore. But it already, the same young Gornetini, Margaret Chidunti, Chidunti Margaret with the Hakon, didn't have down the same young draw Yore, didn't Carlos the Mancorti, sentence, send color Chadan. La corda sempre la corda io lo pene ormai dopo la Mariori la corda sempre yamde teni chongkong la corda no sempre sta yeng la corda yo ma corda tamche to da che wa so sempre ma so chede re zok ma so chede la yang ga ma jire de yang de nga wa yang ba ka ji na jire de o per Japan Toma, Meto, Marsaru, Kalasava, Genetic, Genetic, Togo, they wrote the long time here, take it to Yore, young day, young da, Rimbo, Nibo, they Mari Madonna, 7 young Tadina, they Maranina, Teddy, then you cook the market down tongue, 7 days young None. The Baramone, they rather high Shartokuyore. They did Tapo Julius. They even changes of what you did. They tell each other more than Pachati Sharme, Pachati Tribune Colon, Church Hara Kapuyori, Church Hara Laway, Pasele Lawayori. They did Dandi, Pachai, and Beijing, Ping, Law, Jessin, they Pacha, but to the Linton to Lamson Sertokuyori. Madame Jamata, so Madame Jamata. Data got Tambo Yore, Tatangaso, Dami, something to the Meta, Pachari, Shari Mujori, Pachati, Dandi, Pachari, Dandi, Town, Tamatangori, Penna, Sachi Gangam, Penna Kappa, Tom the Sapum by a dramatic Mamaton, Serasong, Matilda, Lulan, Lugata, Linchad, and Nasanapi, Lamson Shatokoyamai, the Gulu Drop Savari, when the Shitor Drop Savari. Bakchati di parto manamta di bakcha singa bakchati chana yunbo shayung go yore di dolang ile lo do to go yore pena de sanchok sim ke ba jina de do tap de sanji jomdi de nam ta na song go yore men de tsena chobu pa no le de song shi song di patimeng de bu bo ta bo me men da di yang de yang talk Marshall money, knowledge the song, treating, dress it, son never charge of color, jelly the little Santi the Matapaja jelly color, very common. Oh, Tanya charge of color, three Massively something or charge of color, Cogiore, the Pamata, your name for the Makiwa deliver. This Santi Johnny is similar. The Datam be doing that on young dogs, the something chibuti, Zindat of Gentong, something, Divata, didn't call on Namkar Park home, Tarsonry, that of Namtana Yori. They thought the make it out Dandy, Dandy and Torson, the lame youngs of maybe a child on the woman, they thought they didn't have a young Nimble and John, you get him for your age.
And so there are many different methods for reciting the mantra. And generally speaking, when we chant the mantra in a beautiful melody, then it is more powerful. But there are some people who consider the number of accumulations as more important, so they focus more on quickly accumulating a certain number. But that's actually not quite right, because the point of the mantra recitation is that we actually completely immerse our mind with it. So our mind becomes imbued with the sound of the mantra. And so for this reason, the experience is more important than the numbers. And the experience arises when we chant it slowly in a beautiful melody. For example, there are Dharma musicians who chant mantra in a very beautiful way because it enchants the mind. The body and the mind both become completely enchanted, become inspired, immersed in the meaning of these words that are chanted in this beautiful melody. So when we hear it in a beautiful melody, then the mind goes there. And it's important for the mind to connect to the mantra. And that's also the purpose of spinning a prayer wheel, for example. That is why we also should spin a small prayer wheel and slowly, and not like really fast, or a big prayer wheel. That's not so beneficial, and maybe it will cause you some pain. So just slowly spin your prayer wheel, and it's a great support to be mindful, because if you lose your mindfulness, then the prayer wheel will also fall down. When you practice Chenrezig, the main purpose is to purify our mind. Now, with our body, we visualize the form of Chenrezig, and we must cultivate a divine pride or a confidence of really being Chenrezig. So whenever this thought of me, this I arises, immediately turn it around into Chenrezig. For example, when you think, I am drinking my tea or I'm eating food, then immediately change that to Chenrezig and think that no, it's Chenrezig who is eating, it's Chenrezig who is drinking. It's very important to remember that in all your activities. And then we recite the mantra, so we visualize the deity, and then we recite the mantra in a beautiful melody and slowly, because then the mind will really become enchanted by the mantra sound. For example, this is how I also personally feel about it. Even if I don't recite the mantra, if I just hear it, or if I think about it, for example, at night when I'm sleeping and I hear the sound of the mantra, then the mantra and the deity may even appear in the dream. And what appears is the pure illusory body. So, on the other hand, if we follow ordinary sounds, like samsaric sounds, and those those trigger our habitual tendencies of attachment and aversion. And then these habitual tendencies, these karmic imprints, then project outward and become our experience. We are watching them, just like a TV show. Now, so it's very easy to place these imprints in the mind, but when the manifestations then appear, like in the bardo, for example, it is very difficult. If you cultivate an altruistic mind, then in the bardo, and you are able to remember that and the deity, then in the bardo, all suffering will instantly be dispelled, and you will be able to perceive it all as a dream or like an illusion. So also the temporary sufferings of the lower realms is nothing else but a karmic imprint. And it's really the karmic imprint of self-grasping. And so when self-grasping is purified, then all these negative karmic experiences will become purified. In the Ganges Mahamudra, it says, a single lamp flame dispels the darkness of 1,000 aeons. So of course, if we have created certain karmic creditors, for example, the karmic creditors of the body that create disease and illness, we are unable to clear it away right away, because we already have created the cause for that in a previous life, and we are now experiencing the result, the fruition. But we can recognize appearances as illusory by nature. For example, later in the bardo, various illusory appearances will manifest to us. And at that point, when we are in the bardo, it's actually much easier to eliminate or to look through these perceptions. There's a story about a previous life of the Buddha. There was one of the lives where the Buddha took on an impure incarnation before he attained enlightenment. And so at that time he was born as a merchant's son who went to fetch jewels on an island in the ocean. And so then this merchant passed away, and then he was born as the son of a captain on a ship, and his mother told him not to go, but he didn't listen, and he went anyways. And then the boat sank, and so because he disregarded his mother. And it's always very grave if we upset our parents. Then, as a result, he was born in the hell realms, where he saw other sentient beings pushing iron, burning chariots, like wheelbarrows. And so when he saw that, he immediately saw the suffering of others. He forgot his own suffering, and he thought, oh, these poor beings, they suffer so much having to push these heavy wheelbarrows. And then the moment he cultivated compassion for them, he flew up into the sky and he became liberated from the hell realm. So it shows that the root of all suffering is self-grasping. And once that is purified, once there is no more self-grasping, then there is no basis of experiencing any negative karma on the ultimate level. So that's just one story to exemplify that. But now coming back to the chanting of the mantra, it is very important to chant the mantra slowly and in a beautiful melody.
대 누적만 요래 대 생지 담제는 걸 지성 장제 적만 사지 까봤다면 사지 동전이 장매 봐 대사지 사지 샤네 송과 제 무열 생지 담제 노동 처리에 생지 담제 사지 잘 잡았다 대 코로나마다 사지 담다 생지 담제 마다 요 말이 대 타만 거머도 봐 상지 그랬다 담담을 고치죠 걸로 고ጆ래 다들 까봐들 사지 샤자 타봐 송을 배나 대는 까봐들 진에 되네다가 까봐서 사지 똥장이 이제 다 생각을 요발을 시용 거예요. 그랬더니 사자대요. 내가 진에 그 때문에 ramji cha yore de bata karene de thoma de la goche de tabji long do de chang pemle la ka goje long khong totally job de zamber de kopsara to 많은 동시리 고시 칠이요 말들이 이제 정도지 정도 들이 가사 가라 별로 다 주소 살아대 많은 동산지 많으리 송들이 들이들면 다다다 잡는 가라 많다 아무데가 나 동네들이 kopsara 동세 잡는 제시와데 공격하는 애들 공통망을 펼대요래 이 사자디 ram지가 톱이요래 사자 ram지가 톱나 이 나게 사자 짜요 말이 들이 좀 단종 같은 거 ram지가 사유지 이 사자들의 진행적인 내부 따라서 답지 정도 사자들 하자 짜치 버래 송송을 이 지사들을 호막하시게 또 매를 이래 톱이요래 들이 대대로 호막하시게 들이 매그 찌도 뭐또 참아 또 지초종종 총총으로 들어가다 또도 좀 맥다다 통해요 봐 이 지도 호막 찍게 양 들이 진행에서 작동지동 콜로는 지지래 나빠타대 봤대 들이 지동을 호막들 다 똑같이래 이 고소를 대시된 거를 시합요 따라 이렇게 간 거는 야요래 대답했던 통치세요 봐 진행들 내부 따들이 이봐라 들이
So generally speaking, mantra garland possesses 9 different qualities or ways in which we can see the mantra. But there is no need to mention all of them because it would be difficult to understand them all, and there are too many anyways. So I will just mention a few of them, the most important ones. The first one is understand the mantra to be the deity itself. So for example, if I have a prayer wheel that is filled with 1,000,000 mani mantras, then with each rotation, 1,000,000 Chenrezigs emanate outward. The wisdom being is created through the mantra. It is said that there are certain deities that arise from the basis, from the fundamental ground, and then there are certain deities that arise or are created through the mantra. So that is like a mantra created deity. And it is a wisdom being. So understand the mantra to be the deity. And so then once the mantra is seen as the deity, then what do we need to do next? Secondly, understand the mantra garland to be an offering. You can also use the mantra garland to make offerings to millions of deities in all the pure lands in the 10 directions. In the prayer for excellent conduct, it mentions that there are limitless pure lands as vast as an ocean. And may my offerings pervade all the Buddhas in all of these vast oceans of pure lands. And so that is actually also something that if we really think about it, it really makes sense in a way because of the ultimate nature. So in any case, the mantra garland also becomes an offering to all the deities in the pure lands. And so then next, what is the purpose of actually making an offering? The purpose of making offerings to the Buddhas is actually to benefit sentient beings, because that is all that the Buddhas really want. So if you cultivate compassion, you are actually benefiting sentient beings, and that is actually how you're making an offering to the Buddhas. So the third benefit of the mantra then is The mantra also becomes a purification of sentient beings' obscuration through the power of your compassion. The mantra becomes all-pervasive, pervading all sentient beings and benefiting them according to their needs. It liberates those who are not liberated, meaning that those sentient beings who live in the lower realms are liberated into the higher realms. And then secondly, the mantra releases those who are not released, and that means that those sentient beings who are already born in the higher realms, they are shown the meaning of karma, so their eyes to karma open. And then thirdly, the mantra gives breath to those without breath, and that means those whose eyes are already open to karma. The mantra causes them to cultivate the precious bodhicitta. And so in this way, in brief, it causes the ice block of sentient beings to melt slowly and gradually. You're purifying their obscurations, and you're purifying your own obscurations. If you cultivate an altruistic mind, your self-grasping will melt away. And the real obscuration is self-grasping, and the dualistic grasping at self and other. As the Buddha said, beings are only obscured by adventitious stains. So the mantra must be connected to a mind of bodhicitta. And if you visualize it with such a state, with the mind of bodhicitta, then your mind will become very clear. So your mind becomes purified. And before the Buddha, no one knew how to purify the mind. No one was able to purify it. And then the Buddha came with a method to purify the mind, and that is bodhicitta. That is why in the very beginning, the Buddha himself gave rise to bodhicitta. He recognized the preciousness of bodhicitta. And then secondly, the Buddha accumulated merit throughout 3 endless aeons, as he took birth in 500 pure and 500 impure incarnations. And throughout all this time, he accumulated bodhicitta by practicing the 6 paramitas, and then attained enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So there have been countless Buddhas of the 3 times. But no matter how many Buddhas there are, they have one single enlightened intent, and that is to benefit sentient beings. They have one motive or one activity, and that is to bring all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment. So all the Buddhas think about is sentient beings. And as a result of that, they have attained enlightenment, and after attaining enlightenment, they turn the wheel of Dharma. So for example, in this aeon, the Buddha Shakyamuni has appeared to turn the wheel of Dharma. In Chenrezig's 1,000 eyes, we have said, are a sign of the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate aeon. And also, that's one thing. And then the other thing is that this place here, this center, is actually a holy place of Chenrezig. There have been many signs that prove that. For example, in the very beginning, when we first opened the center, His Eminence Drubang Rinpoche, who is really Vajradhara, he came here, and he was actually the first one who sat here up on this throne. And all he imparted on others was the Mani Mantra. He went around the world and established the practice of the Mani Mantra everywhere. And before that, people really were not familiar with that practice. They didn't know how to do this practice. But he introduced them to the meaning of mantra, and he told them that the Mani Mantra is the Buddha, is the essence of the Dharma. And so nowadays, as a result of his activities, many people around the world know how to do those practices of the Mani Mantra retreat or the Amideva Mantra recitation retreat, and so on. It is really his kindness, due to his kindness, that these traditions were first started in the world. So he was the one who first came here. So that is one sign that this place is a holy place of Chenrezig. And he actually himself also said this is a very special, a very holy place. And secondly, this place is actually not a place that I was looking for. I just received this place naturally, it just appeared naturally. The benefactor, John Carlton, has found this place naturally. And there are many signs that this place is Chenrezig's place. For example, in the beginning, there were a few disciples who found rocks here that look on the inside like an eye, like the eye of Chenrezig. So first, they found a couple of those stones, and nowadays we can see that almost all of these rocks here have eyes within them. And then also another example, another sign of this being a place of Chenrezig is that there was this disciple who drew an image, a circular image of the thousand-eyed Chenrezig, and he placed that image on our temple door. And it kind of coincided with the time where we found all these eyes. And then suddenly there was this image that had all these eyes on it. That was also a sign of that disciple's great wisdom and Buddha nature. So anyways, there are many signs that this place really is a holy place of Chenrezig.
남념 심파 밀레들이 콜로콜로 촉바토야 되게 고반들이 진도에 나고 속차다 보자 이거 봐야 버려서 나도 토에 비데이터들이 되게 마늘들 두두들이 안나 본드 점들이 다들 마다 마늘은 데라더니 리치로 데라들이 다다 심지 답지가 통나 미기들 봐야 요바 사람들이 많이 요바 제래더니 마늘을 줘버려 이 마늘을 본드 점들이 꼬라잡네 되니들 레베감도 되니 레콩도 마늘을 랩 그리고 무슨 하고요 말이 이 남이 잡았단 말이 마늘을 생각 벌려지 이 대기바 다 가당들이 되니 기본 뭐 지게 되니나 마늘을 초바시한테 되니 약 잡아잡으래 의미의 데이터들이 사람 무엇들이 다 데이터를 요래 데이터들이 마늘을 돼 점들이 다 잡는 게 좋아가 서로 권하는 퍼초고라는 소리가 나는 이 마늘을 줘야 돼요 이런 뭐에 데이터가 다 사참이라가 아시는 정도 달라토가 빠르더니 좀 맞게 버려요 대회들이 어서 마늘을 줘 동요대.
And then another way of seeing the mantra is to see the mantra as a blessing. And so it is a blessing that destroys our self-grasping, or it melts the ice block into water, and as a result, wisdom naturally arises. And many qualities arise. And so as we mentioned before, there are different ways when self-grasping melts. For example, when we give rise to devotion to the higher beings or devotion to a guru, for example, then self-grasping melts away. When devotion arises, then actually naturally compassion for sentient beings will also arise. And again, self-grasping melts away. That is one point. And then there's another point about the mantra garland. It's also connected actually to those mani pills. There is those blessed mani pills that have been consecrated at Gar Monastery in Tibet. And this tradition of consecrating those little mani pills was started many, many generations in the past in Gar Monastery in Tibet by Changme Raga Asya and Gar Denzin Puntsok. So many generations in the past. And the tradition of this practice was uninterruptedly sustained up until the year of 1959, and then again it was reestablished. For example, after it was reestablished, we had the prayer wheel, the Mani prayer wheel installed back at Gar Monastery, and it turns there now continuously day and night. And so one time, for example, some government officials came to visit the monastery, and they were really impressed by our activities of virtue. And they said that in this whole province there are about 700 different monasteries, but you are really the only one who practices the Dharma or virtue all the time around the clock, because that prayer wheel is spinning there around the clock. And we are actually also doing activities, engaging in activities to safeguard the animals there. And so they recognized that and offered praise to our virtuous activity. So one of those activities is the continuous consecration of the Mani pills. And the Mani pills are actually also connected to the precious pills, the Rinchen Ribo, which is a Tibetan medicine. And therefore, the Mani pills possess the quality of medicine that heals illness, and also the quality of being a blessing for sentient beings. So these Mani pills, as we mentioned, have been consecrated at Gar Monastery in Tibet and then made their way here. And for example, when they arrived here for the first time at the office, we actually didn't know about that, but they arrived on a certain day, and on that very day it was actually raining. And then the second time, when the second time a batch of Mani pills arrived here from Tibet, at that time Khenpo Rinpoche, he took those Mani pills and put them here on the shrine in the temple. And also on that day, it was raining. So these are all signs of this really being a place of Chenrezig. And regarding these Mani pills, by the way, whoever needs them can receive them. So you can connect to the office and receive those Mani pills. Anyone can eat them. And it's a very long-standing tradition, a very old tradition of consecrating these Mani pills at Gar Monastery. So it started at the time of Chagme Raga Asya and has been sustained up until the present day. And so close to Gar Monastery, close to the retreat center of Gar Monastery, there is a place called Charpa Tsoka. And Charpa means rain, and Tsoka is like the kind of like a place where rain fell down. And so basically what happened at this place was that the Mani pills were being consecrated in the past, and then the Mani pills fell down like rain falling down. And so they multiplied, and there were so many Mani pills. And so that is why the place was then given that name, like the rain, the rain town or something like that. And that is close to Gar Monastery's retreat area. So then I stopped the teachings here for today. Mdashidele.
Ome Soba Vayena Sarva Dharma Soba Vayena Vahai Dombe Ngale Jamle Ramboy Nuso Sarange Meye Dangbo Yangsa Jirba Chuze Na Rangin Dongba Namba Chuze Se Sami Je Deva Janab
Page 29. From emptiness arises a drum syllable that transforms into a precious container. The initial letters of each of the offerings appear and then transform into the offering substances with the nature of emptiness. Through contemplation, they transform into an unlimited cloud of offerings which has the power to produce never-ending happiness. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 Chakravartin kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, manifesting whatever is needed to train those to be trained. I praise and prostrate to Dzumpa Chenrezig. To all those worthy of praise, I always bow with bodies countless as dust particles. I praise you with supreme faith.
Imam Gangana Kamso Vai Nama Sarva Dada Bhai Gome Gomengaba Savada Ongada Sava Imam Gangana Kamso Vai Om Benda Amardai Kandala Hana Om Benda Amardai Kandala Hana Hana Om Benda Amardai Kandala Hana Na Be Nama Savada Awa Loy Gada Sambara Sambara Hong Nama Sarvada Awa Loy Gada Nama Savada Om Jana Awa Loy Nama Sameda Savarana Nama Sambara Samaya Mahamane Duru Duru Randaya Zolane Wanjana Avaloy Gede Nama Samet Safarana Rama Sambhava Samaya Mahamane Duru Randaya Zolane Wanjana Avaloy Nama Sameda Safarana Rama Sambhava Samaya Mahamane Duru Duru Daya Zolana Nama Sameda Budana Dahi Shore Daben Zadama Samaya So Nama Sameda Budana Dahi Shore Daben Zadama Samaya So Nama Sameda Budana Dahi Shore Daben Samaya So Benjamin Guru Parambara Sabara Yadam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Om Benjamin Guru Parambara Sabara Vara Adam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Om Benjamin Guru Parambara Sabara Gaga Gaya Gaya Om Arya Loke Shore Sabara Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Aya Loge Yore Sabare Vare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Aya Loge Yore Sabare Vare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gaya Om Devan Dai Gana Sabare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Om Devanda Gana Sabare Vare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gai Om Devanda Gana Sabare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gaya Om Dhamma Rakya Sabare Vare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gaya Om Dhamma Bala Rakya Sabare Vare Edam Balenda Gaga Gaya Gaya
Now we go to the concise Chenrezig text on page 27, right?
Yes.
Page 27.
Bring down.
Bringing down great secret blessings.
Rani la sabe doso humle unju lama renjin sawa sanje tuju gor tamje tinta ba dar suna sen la wang ngudu zorigan de la de ba ju
From the life force hung at the heart of myself, visualized as the deity, radiates light, invoking the enlightened mind of the Guru, knowledge holders, and three roots. They all appear like billowing clouds and bestow blessings, empowerment, and cities, and perform enlightened deeds.
So